Hold on, what the fuck? I look like I had a bang. Okay, let me relax for a minute. So I just finished having a crying session, and I just wanted to share something for the people who are wave surfing. I'm gonna call it wave surfing because that's what it fucking feels like. That's what ascension fucking feels like. It feels like wave surfing. It's like no longer about the thoughts anymore. It's all about the feels, and you're like completely restructuring, if that's even a word. I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna make it up. If it's like basically restructuring your brain, like everything's fucking upgrading and shit. So some tips I have is because like at the beginning when you're like evolving your consciousness, I feel like, well, for me, this is how it was for me. The beginning was like, yeah, it gets more complicated. I'm just gonna say it like that. I'm just gonna say it like that. It gets more complicated. So the beginning stages of an awakening or whatnot, I would say, are depression, anxiety, eating disorders, you know, like just a general sense of not well-being, feeling negative feelings. All of those things are a part of life, right? But if you get to a point where you'll know, basically you'll know, like this will resonate. You'll know when you're about to like have a shift, like an energetic shift. And that can be a really big shift or a small shift depending on where you're at, or yeah, what your soul chose to go through or whatever. I believe that. I have a strong feeling that the soul chooses its life. I feel like, because it only makes sense. But yeah, like for me, when my ascension thing started happening, I didn't know that that's what that was, but I just know that it was intense and that I was completely clueless, and I was like, what the fuck? Because a lot of people make, like, I don't know, I don't know if it's just me, but it's like people are making it seem like it's this simple thing, like oh, you know, like you just buy crystals and now you're like spiritual, and that's ascension. No, it has nothing to do with crystals. It has nothing to do with even new age, to be honest. It can be, the spectrum can be very wide when it comes to these things, since like it's all connected, and yeah, we're all one basically. So it's like, it's not I don't have the word right now, but yeah, it's just not limited. And yeah, so like the beginning stages for me was my eating disorder, when I was like eating a lot and all of that, and I was trying to lose weight. Actually, I was like super big. I was like, not super big, I was like super big on weight. There we go. I was super big on weight and appearances, and I was like, you know what, I have to look good. I have to look good for a man. I have to, you know. So I was like super hard on myself, but I would be eating a lot too. So it was like a complete self-sabotage cycle that was going on there. And that's when like I was like getting super pissed off because I would try to diet and it wouldn't work, and I was like, what the fuck, you know? Like it feels so, it's so real. Those problems are so real in the moment, and then you look back and you're like, well, no, not you look back, but other people can look at you and look at your problems like they're nothing, like that's nothing to be sad about. But you don't know what lies underneath that. You don't know why that person feels that way. You don't know why the person wants to count their calories. You don't know why the person has anger issues. You don't know why. So it's like, yeah, And I just kind of want to support you if you're like a teenager and you're just going through a lot of things. Because I don't know, right? I assume. I literally don't socialize. Like, if you came to me in my house, you would see I don't socialize. I don't go out. I don't talk to anybody. And I try. Just everybody's fucking busy with school or with work. So I'm like, hey, I mean, I dedicate my life to freedom and like, well, that's what I'm trying to dedicate my life to. That's what I'm making a priority. So it's kind of like lonely because a lot of people are actually like planning their future and I'm kind of just living it. And so we're like at different, basically in different realities, because I'm like chilling and people are working. And yeah, it's kind of like hard for me to know when people are struggling. Like, I can sense it, but it's like people tell me, people can be in denial and they'll act like everything's fine, but it's not fine. Well, at least that's how I see it sometimes. I don't trust when people tell me everything's like perfect, because I'm like, how can everything be perfect? So anyways, yeah, like, I just want to support you if you're like a teenager or even an adult and you're like, what the fuck is life? Yeah, like midlife crisis type of things, identity crises, like that shit's rough, you know? And I want to like be there. I want to show up for you. I want to show up. I want to see, like right now when I was crying, I was like, this shit's so motherfucking painful, dude. Like, I'm literally crying by myself. Like, that was the loneliest thing I think I've felt. And I've always felt lonely in the back of my mind, but I never paid attention to it because I would try to push it away because I thought it was my imagination. I was like, that's just it's kind of like you'll see this when you start your awakening process. You'll start like you'll start realizing shit like that was right in front of your face, and you yourself knew it was right in front of your face, but since you like were so like in denial of it, it just kind of like, man. And then it hits you and you're like, what the fuck? I know you and it's been like this, but I just completely brushed you off. But anyways, yeah, right now you saw I got distracted. It's because I was like, you know what? I feel guilty because I just feel like I'm doing something wrong. Like, I'm gonna be straight up. I feel like I'm doing something wrong because I feel like I try to connect with people and I just fucking can't, dude. I mean, I can, but it's like there's just something, you know? I'm craving something. I just don't know what it is. I'm needing something. I'm not sure quite how to get that. And that shit's painful. And that's part of the process of awakening, I want to say, is that you're gonna start going through shit that you're like, what the fuck is this? And nobody's gonna give you the answers because you are the answers. You have the answers, and the answers are within the journey, taking one step at a time and adding completely prioritizing self-care, because self-care is what's gonna help you roll along the ride much more fluently, or like like, you know what I mean, softly, smoothly. And if you can't self-care, which, dude, honestly, I get it. Sometimes you just can't. Like, you try and you just can't. The only thing you're able to do is brush your teeth, wash your face. Sometimes you can't even do that. And that's facts. That's for people who, like, straight up, like, you're fucking sensitive as fuck and everything's just fucking intense for you. or was intense for you. Your traumas were really rough for you. Because there's people that like go through some really fucked up shit, and they, for some reason, that's like not really what affected them, but you do something else affected them. You know, everybody, it affects everybody differently, so it's kind of, yeah. I also feel like I'm going a little bit crazy. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I'm going a little bit crazy, but the only thing that's been keeping me feeling calm is my body and my presence. Like, I just feel like I'm just grateful to have me, you know, I'm grateful to have me here with me, because I know I'm not gonna be mean to myself, or if I am mean to myself, I know I'm gonna like reevaluate everything. And yeah, I was just gonna say this little tip, because this is the tip that inspired me to make this video. Because when you start developing a much more complicated brain patterns, which is basically what raising your frequency is, it's you're adding so much more information, and you're like, I'm sorry, I know I fucking hate scratching my scalp too, but hey, you know, you're gonna have to watch this. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, yeah, so that's what basically raising your frequency is. It's you're getting more information and you're learning to put it in the right places, which changes constantly. Like, that's the best way I could explain it. It's like changing constantly, and everything's just a river, and you're just in the river, and it's just intense, yo. It's intense. And that's why I'm gonna say, like, the best tip is obviously taking it one step at a time. And sometimes you're gonna be at a point where it's like you're multitasking and it's like 3 steps at a time, and that's when it's like you become aware of the 3, and then that 3 becomes a whole other piece, and then that's crazy. That's essential. That's real. That's how it's going for me, and I just want to share that, and in that weird freaky way, I want to share it like that, because I'm not even gonna lie to you, like, it's scary. I'm like, what the fuck? I also recommend watching Perception Trainers. She saved my life. Ali Washington, she saved my life. Literally, she makes me feel sane. They're like I'm not like all her videos. There's one in particular that's called "Are You Afraid to Keep Walking on Your Awakening Path?" Or there's also this other what's it called? Why You Will Feel Crazy Walking Along Your Awakening Path Sometimes. I recommend those 2 videos. If you're feeling fried out, if you're going through an energetic upgrade, you probably need to soothe yourself. And I'm just here, you know? I'm just a little penguin, okay? Don't mind me. I'm just here riding the waves with you, and I'm just stopping by to let you know what's up, you know? I'm letting you know it's good, you know? Oh no, where are my sunglasses? Yeah, take it one step at a time, and remember to add play to that shit. You want to add playtime. You know why? Because playtime is game time, and game time is it's just gonna help you, all right? You're gonna start taking the process lighter, and it reminds you to be a kid. It reminds you to not take it so fucking serious, even though it is. you're worthy, you're awesome, you're amazing, you know. I hope you had a good day. I hope you're having a good night, and I love you. And you know, you everything's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be okay. It always is. And it's good to acknowledge how you feel, how you really feel. It's okay, you know. Sometimes we like feel, I'm gonna speak for myself, sometimes I feel like I'm never gonna be okay, and then sometimes I feel like I'm fucking fine. And I don't know why I was ever sad, and then yeah, so it's kind of tricky. But yeah, it's kind of tricky. And I've been wanting to hire a mentor, or some mentors. I kind of want to hire Dove and Nicole, because they seem very passionate, and that's one of my favorite attributes to somebody, or traits. That's one of my favorite. It's when someone is passionate. Someone knows pain and knows pleasure, and then passion, and they're able to express that to the world, that creativity, that truth, that vulnerability. So I am just grateful to know that I don't know everything, because that means that there's stuff that I don't know yet, that I don't know. And why does that make me feel good? Because that means that there's probably solutions to my problems that I don't even know about yet, or like solutions to, yeah, because the only problems I don't have problems. Like, I just have like disturbances. I'm gonna call it that. It's straight up, like, it's honestly just disturbances that are frightening, and I don't have like support for it. Or maybe I do, it's just I am not open to it yet. Or maybe I don't, and I will receive it when I'm ready. And that's why I try my best to trust the universe, or trust God, whoever's in charge, to just like that my needs will be my needs will be met, and that things are gonna be okay, that wherever I'm at is where I'm supposed to be at. That's how evolution works. It's kind of like, I was thinking about this concept in the morning. I was like, you know what? It's kind of like when you go to elementary, and then you go to high school, and then you learn all this shit in high school, and then you're like, you wouldn't have gone to high school if you didn't go to elementary or middle school. You wouldn't have gone to college if you didn't go to high school, unless, you know, you got your ways. So it's all an important part of this. That Martin Luther King Jr. said in his quote, you don't have to see the whole staircase, you can just take the first step. And I really like that, because it's very true. That's the truth of success. I'm gonna tell you right now. And I'm not just saying this is legit the key to success. You don't need a life coach, you don't need shit. Just take it one step at a time and trust the process. That's literally it. If you can just follow that, you're set for life. You know why? Because you're not meant to see the whole thing, because that would be too long. I feel like that would be too long. So shout out to Shira7 too. I've been watching a lot of her videos, and you know, she just really inspired me, because her confidence and the way she carries herself as a woman just really touched me, because I never really saw it that way until now. So it's just something that's been on my mind lately. I've been liking that. I've been watching a ton of her videos, because she hypes you up, and she like tells you, you know what, girl, shit, dude, I haven't eaten anything all day. Oh, I know why, because I've been eating at nighttime. I've been eating walnuts. So yeah, I'm just super grateful for having me, because you know, in this ascension process you lose so many things. You lose, right? You lose a lot of people and things. And I didn't mean that as an insult. I mean, like, you don't really lose people because they're always in your heart. And that's something that nobody can take away from you. Nobody can go inside you and make you not feel love for people. And love heals everything. Everything. Have you ever been in a really painful situation and you're crying and someone just holds you? That's love. And what does that do? It makes you open your heart even more. It makes you more receptive and open, which is a great thing. Is a marvelous thing, is what that is. So, you know, it's just, I feel really grateful to have myself here, showing up for myself every day, even when I can't. And I try, you know, I try. And I motivate myself. And this is just to let you know, if you're doing this alone, or if you're not on your ascension process, which I don't think that exists, because I think everybody's growing here and everybody's doing their own thing. But if you're not, and you're just a teenager, you know, and you're struggling, your parents are abusing you and things like that, and you're having a rough time, you know, getting up in the morning, you gotta go to school, they bully you at school. I don't know if they do that stuff anymore, okay? I haven't gone to school, but, or you feel like you don't fit in, or you feel like you don't want to go to school, but your parents are like forcing you to go because that's what safety is. Like, if you're going through anything, ask God, ask the universe to give you guidance. I promise you, you will not regret it. Empower yourselves. When I, like, in the Alcoholics Anonymous group, the second step is you decide to believe in a higher power than yourself. And that's honestly, that was the best thing that has ever affected my life. And anyways, I forgot what I was gonna say. Yeah. If you're watching, yeah, and if you're just watching this and you're not into all that, but you know that something's going on, then I hope this helps. Oh, that's what I was saying. Love heals everything. So my point was, when you think you lost people, or you did lose people, we can't lose people because they're a part of us. If you really love someone, they can hate you all they want. They can hate you all they want, or they can like die, but they're always gonna be in your heart. And that's something that's what I'm trying to say, is once you grieve and everything, you just open your heart again and you love, and then you feel free again. And also acknowledge what caused the drift, the separation in the first place. So when, you know, things, a lot of spiritual teachers say separation isn't a thing, but I'm talking for the sake of separation because it's not a thing, but it feels like a thing. So yeah, you know, you can't control who you attune. I mean, you can control who you attune to, but sometimes you can't, because you're gonna be at a certain vibration and then somebody else is gonna be at a different other vibration. I'm not saying one is higher than the other or one is lesser than the other. They could be like just completely different, or like just they don't have anything to learn from each other. It polarizes. So It's nice to like use them as a mirror by owning your triggers that they bring out in you, because those triggers are the elevator. They're the escalate. They're the elevator to your next elevation. They're gonna elevate you. Those triggers, and those triggers are sacred. Let me tell you, don't beat yourself up if it's super hard to stay present with a trigger, because nobody, like, it's difficult. It can be difficult, but with consistency and, you know, patience with yourself and, you know, detachment, you are able to face those triggers and actually integrate them into your being, because they're not separate from you. You got to treat them like they're your child, or they're your little cousin or something. You wouldn't like go and like just leave them crying, right? You would be there. And it's hard sometimes because we dissociate completely without even realizing that we dissociate. I don't know if you've ever gotten on the car and you didn't realize that you had gotten to the car until you're already halfway on your way to work. That is that's what I mean. Like, you're completely, yeah, sometimes you can't control where you're at in your consciousness, okay? Emotionally. So yeah. And just to end a little bit, shout out to Derek. And but what was I gonna say? What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so my mom pissed me off earlier, and I just wanted to tell the story. You know, I don't hate my mom, but I realized what it is. I thought I hated her, but in reality, I just wanted her approval. See, when you hate someone, it's because you want their approval. At least that's how I see it. I don't know. Or you're jealous, right? That can be another factor. But that jealousy still is rooted in approval. You want approval from someone or something, or you want some. Anyways, whole point is, when I was, no, I'm gonna try to make it fast because I know I fucking talk a lot. My mom was like, she just walked over here earlier and she just put the vacuum inside the car, and that bothered me. And I told her, what are you doing? Don't bring the vacuum in here. I fucking hate that vacuum. I hate that motherfucker with all my fucking life. You know why? Because it doesn't even work anymore. And that's what my mom does. She likes to like hoard things and try to keep the scraps and make the scraps last. And it's like, no, if it's over, it's over. Throw it away. It's done. Stop clinging. Like, why? I just don't get it. It frustrates me. And I also didn't like that she just walks, like, when she's got her own problem, like, she just like throws it at me and like, here, fix it. Like what? Like, I don't know. I guess I just don't like, it's not that I don't like her telling me what to do, it's just I don't like her telling me what to do. Like, ask me and I'll do it. And I've always told her that. Even when I was younger, I was like, if you want me to do you a favor, ask. Don't tell me to do it. Because if you're telling me to do it, it shows that you don't have like respect for me as a person, you know? At least that's how I felt back then. And I still kind of felt like that right now, because when I got mad and I told her I'm gonna throw it away, I meant I'm gonna throw it away because that shit don't work anymore. And you're trying to hoard that shit. And immediately she started yelling at me like, oh, you're so disrespectful. Oh no, you're that disrespectful. And like, she just said it with like this hateful tone, like I'm just the worst person ever. And I remember she used to, immediately I felt fear, like all in my sacral chakra, like everywhere. I was tripping balls. I was like feeling that anxiety that I would feel back then when she would catch me smoking weed, you know? That shit's traumatic as fuck, because what would come after that? A bunch of judgment, a bunch of, you shouldn't be doing that, or you're bad, or like, look, all I do for you, and you just fucking do drugs, and wow, you're a fucking, you know, she never said you're a piece of shit, right? She never said that, but you can say that without trying to say it. You could do it directly. You could be like, hey, you're a fucking piece of shit. Or you can be like, like, you could just give someone a look and they're already